Hi everyone, I'm Tamara Salas. I'm going to interview someone really special today. His name is Lee McKee. Hi Sifilima, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Beautiful. Tell us, what brought you to Wing Chun and how did you arrive in Hong Kong?
Originally I started Wing Chun because it was around 1999 I believe, and during that time I was just due to my lifestyle I was getting into a lot of fighting, so in that period of my life, so I decided I should get good at it, you know. So I actually went into the Yellow Pages and I looked for I didn't know much about martial arts, right, just apart from the movies, but I looked for the biggest and brightest ad, which was Jim Fung's Academy. So that's how I found Wing Chun. I didn't even know it was related to Bruce Lee or anything like that, but that's how I found Wing Chun. And then I trained for a few years, and in 2004 I met Al Siegel, Choi Sun-Tin, and I met him in a seminar in Sydney, and he just blew my mind away. He used me as a demonstration. You know, at first looks he's just a skinny old man, but so he didn't look like much, but he asked someone to go up and I went up and I felt what he could do and it just blew my mind. So then and there I decided I got to learn from this man, and I was blessed enough that Al Sifu Jim Fung, he wrote me a letter to go there, and yeah, and here we are. Originally I was actually going to only plan to stay there for a couple of months. So that's what I told my mum, I'll be back in a couple of months. It's been 10 years now, so yeah.
Amazing. and so when you stayed in Hong Kong and lived in Hong Kong, how often would you train?
A lot. Even before Hong Kong I was training because I was doing it full time, so I was training about, I'd say 8 hours a day. So I kept up those hours when I went there. So Seagulls will be 5 to 11 every night, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. every night, so 6 hours. So I'd be there. Many times I'd be there before he opens the door. I'd be waiting outside, and I'd usually be the last to leave. So I was doing the 6 hours there, and one of his students, Ma, he was teaching in the VTAA in Hong Kong, the Wing Chun Athletic Association, the Yip Man's Association. So he was teaching there from 2 to 5. So some days I'd go 3 days a week. I'd go there first, 2 to 5, and then 5 to 11 at Seagull. So some days I was doing 9 hours, but I was only working on Saturdays when I was there as well. So mornings and nights, even before or after, we would be getting together because it was a whole group of us which went over. So we'd get together and we'd have some beers and we'd end up talking about what happened in training so we could train on. So basically it was all the time they were all training.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a lot of training.
Yeah.
In your social media profile, we have seen and can see your passion for our lineage, the Choi Sun-Tin lineage.
Yeah.
Tell us what that means to you.
Our family, our lineage means a lot. I'm a family man, so of course I love my Wing Chun family. but I mean, I respect all Wing Chun lineages and all martial artists, really, all real martial artists where they spend a lot of time, practicing. You got to respect that. But in particular, our lineage, because of Siegel, because of the guy's a legend. He's a real legend, and when you stop and think and consider this man actually dedicated his life to it. Like there's many people that do, like even myself now, having kids and stuff like that. You get to train a little bit less, but him from the beginning, he was doing at least 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, non-stop, and he did that for 64 years, so that's a long time. This man was Wing Chun, so it's a big deal, and not just any kind of Wing Chun, the way he expressed the Wing Chun, the internal side of things, it was very, in my opinion, it's very, very special. I haven't come across that in the 16 years I've been around Wing Chun and researching it. I haven't come across anyone else that had something like that, so it really is a gem. Many people don't understand that, but I was blessed enough to go there and, like yourself, have been in touch with Siegel, and yeah, it's just a very special thing. So this has to carry on, you know, through generations. So I really feel passionate about, you know, our family and our job to practice a lot and make it flourish and be able to pass it on.
So, Grandmaster Choi, he was like a father to you in your journey of Wing Chun in the last 9 to 10 years. What was it like learning from him and obviously being in his presence as such close students that you were?
Yeah, he really actually was like a father to me. He because I didn't have him, my father wasn't around when I was young, and he passed away when I was there a couple of years after I moved to Hong Kong. So, and I was young. I was 21 when I went to Hong Kong. Yeah, early 20s. So he really was like you know, someone a mentor, someone I would look up to, not just for Wing Chun, but how to be a man, you know, how to act. So I looked up to him in that sense as well. And he, yeah, as a person, he was just really humble and he was really down to earth. You know, you wouldn't expect a Wing Chun master what he could do from, you know, the skill that he had being a master. You wouldn't expect that he would get involved with the young Westerners that would come in. But many times, you know, if we were joking, he'd obviously he couldn't speak English, but he'd want to get involved. You know, he'd come and he'll wait until one of us, someone translates so he could get involved, and you know, so he was very down to earth. You know, as we were training, he would sometimes just go out to he had lots of plants, so he would go and water the plants and just look at the plants and touch them for a while. You know, he was very much with nature, and I never heard him talk bad about anyone. You know, people would say sometimes, you know, us guys would ask something direct, you know, how about this person, what about that person, how's his skill, how's that skill, in terms of other Wing Chun masters and stuff, and he never said anything bad about anyone. And yeah, he was just a very special man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So you trained here in Sydney and then in Hong Kong. What was the difference like for you between training in Australia and training in Hong Kong?
Yeah, so I started training here about a few years, you know, 5, 6 years before I went to Hong Kong, and it's very different. It was a massive difference in the training, because what we did in Oz is a lot more physical, obviously a lot more systematic. You know, you have big classes and you know, you're just working on punching, kicking, just the external side of things, I thought. And it was great, you know, and Sifu Jim, he was great, you know, the instructor classes we used to go to Wednesdays and Thursdays, they were brilliant, and his instructors that we were learning from, they were great as well, they were doing their best, and but at the end of the day, they were still, you know, they were still training only for a few years. Sifu Jim had only done about 4 years with Seagull before he came over to Australia. So, and even though he was a very good student, Jim Fung was a great practitioner. You know, his 1-inch punch is the reason why most of the old school guys joined up. So he knew his stuff. But there's just a difference in caliber of you know, the teachers, Jim Fung and his instructors here compared to Seagull, which at the time when I moved there, he'd been living the life of, like, literally living the Wing Chun life, you know, 70, 80 hours a week for 50 plus years. So to go there to the source and be able to learn from him it was just a different feel, and I felt that it was mainly working on the essence of the art in Hong Kong. That was the difference. Where in Sydney, it was working on, as I said, the extremities, external parts of the art, and, you know, for fighting and stuff like that. But when we went to Hong Kong, it was so much deeper, so much more internal, and so much more to the core of, you know, standing for 6 hours a day, which we never did in Australia. So yeah, it was just a lot deeper and more difficult, I think, in Hong Kong. Yeah.
Extra degree of difficulty.
Yeah, it was hard work. It was hard work, man. I remember the first couple of years, I'd get, because I had back pain when I went there, and standing, your feet, your knees, you know, on the tiles, we would stand for hours, and especially my back was just in agony before I learned how to let it go, before I learned how to relax it. And I remember, because I was young and wanted to make a good impression on Seagull, I wouldn't sit down, so if I had to sit down from the pain, I'd go to the bathroom, put the toilet seat down and just sit there for a few minutes and go back because I didn't want to look bad. But so I must have looked strange because every like 15 minutes I'd go to the toilet and I'd just stay there for 5 minutes. But after a couple of years, once we got used to it, started relaxing, it wasn't so much like a chore or something we had to do. It became really, really fun, really special when you start feeling things inside your body. Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. In your teachings, through your videos and your profile, we see Sigmund Choi guiding you whilst you're teaching. What was the most heartfelt thing for you in his teaching that helps you balance your teaching method today, and also in your personal life as well?
Well, as a teacher, from what I learned from him as a teacher, which I can use for my own teaching, is the amount of patience and persistence he had. Day in, day out, he'd come in and, you know, just one movement, because he was, as I said, was passing on the essence, so the feeling behind each movement. So he'd come in and he might manipulate our shoulder, so just simple Tansa or a punch, manipulate the shoulder, day in, day out. So for me personally, for 9 years, he was, doing it over and over again patiently, and you wouldn't get it. Sometimes people coming from overseas that they didn't have the idea of what he was trying to teach, but it would patiently stay with them. Sometimes people would argue, would say no, but this is, and he would just sort of listen, smile, let them speak, and then try to softly get his point across. And so this was a very big quality. Right? He wasn't very egoistic about his teaching. So. And of course the persistence, he kept day in, day out, he would do it. So that's something that I picked up as a teacher, not getting frustrated with the student, because this is, again, teaching this type of Wing Chun, or teaching Wing Chun in this method, it can get frustrating if you tell them to relax and they can't relax at a level to get the control that you want them to get. But being on the other end of it, I understand how important the patience and the persistence is. But he, as a teacher, what I can use for my life, he learnt me how to really look within and be able to relax to it. Not just relax like this, but relax to a deep level. To be able to control relaxation and observe myself, and that he changed me as a human being. His Wing Chun, his teaching, he really, really changed me in the last decade. So. Yes, I was very blessed. Yeah, very blessed.
You bring all that into your life, obviously, into everything that you do.
Exactly right. Yeah. I'm a completely changed. For the people that know me 10 years ago, I mean, especially people that know the past that I came from, quite an intense childhood and past that I came up, coming from Iran, coming to Australia, and then the life that I got involved in, what happened with my family. So all of that, when people find out, like, wow, really, you went through that? Because I've just transformed. So and again, it's thanks to him. Yeah.
Beautiful. So Qigong has passed now, and with your students, do you see Grandmaster Choi in them when you're teaching and training together? Because you're all training together.
Yeah.
Now that he's gone, do you feel his presence in your students?
Absolutely. I certainly feel. I certainly get reminded a lot of the time together with Qigong, his teaching, being in the training hall, stuff like that, while I'm teaching, because I mean we spent many thousands of hours with him, going through every form, so every movement of every form, going through that many times in different ways, to get an understanding. And sometimes sometimes he would do demonstrations, he would show off, he'd get 3 of us to try to stop him, and he'd effortlessly move us. So when going through these, and actually we were very lucky, because the time that we were there is when he found out he had cancer. So 6 years ago he came, I remember he came in and he said, look, I've got something to announce, I have cancer, they've given me 6 months to live. We were like, oh, okay. He said, don't worry, I feel fine. I mean, with my own feeling, I'm fine, so we're going to carry on. But because of that, he said he was going to retire soon, within 3 years. So he said he's going to teach every form, so starting Silum, Tacham, Kyu, Bilji, the dummy and the 2 weapons in 6-month blocks, which he'd never done in his 60 plus years of his teaching. So we were very, very blessed to have him. He'd never taught systematically. He would just, it was just very casual, and whenever the person was ready for the next form, he'd teach them. But this way he broke down every movement in every form. So now teaching that to my students, now the students are coming up in Hong Kong, I'm teaching them, some of them the 3rd form now, going through different movements to try to explain what the feeling should be, what you should think about. It brings back a lot of memories. I say, oh yeah, so this time, one time Seagull did this, or, and that leads to talking about some stories he would tell. And so he's 100%, I think as long as I continue teaching, training myself and teaching, the memory won't fade. Yeah, so.